Welcome to our usual hovers. I'm Meek and Nomicon, and today I'm playing for the game Loverendia, where we play as a man who's on the verge of madness and death when he meets a girl named Lara. When I was finally able to stand up, I went into the bathroom. I looked in the mirror and washed my face, trying to avoid focusing too much on my empty eyes. On that corpse on the other side. If the eyes really were the reflection of the soul, I didn't want to know what kind of monster I had become. Because that's how I was. This is what I became. Someone who all I could feel towards myself was hatred and pity. I'm so goddamn tired and fed up with all of this, I said to myself as I gritted my teeth. I turned off the tap and shook my wet hands to dry them in the air. Before leaving the bathroom, I stood still in front of the door. I looked at the mess in my room. The bed that hadn't been made for days. The curtains blocking out the sunlight. And all the food I had poorly fed myself scattered on the table. Oh, how long have we left the food there? That can't be good. We're going to get so many bugs. In the middle of this silence, I closed the bathroom door and turned around. I was aware that again, all those intrusive thoughts were coming back into my head and slowly taking over. I didn't want that. I didn't want to do anything that those voices whispered to me louder and louder. They were trying to convince me that, if I obeyed them, this pain that was bathing my heart in agony would disappear once and for all. That I could finally have a second of peace. The only issue would be, it wouldn't just be a second though, would it? It'd all be rather final. I knew it was all a lie, but a small part of me wondered, what if it really is the only solution? My only escape? I closed my eyes and dug my nails into my arms. I always did this so that the pain would take my attention away from my thoughts. That is not a healthy coping mechanism. Has Pennywise been here? My bathroom seems to be covered in blood. I was so tired. Just so fed up. I just wanted this pain, this loneliness to end. I knew that there were so many things wrong with me. I was aware that, with the passage of time, I had completely broken. Now, I was a simple man made up of broken pieces. I wanted to cry out for help. I wanted to be saved. But I was simply ignored. Are we somehow... Is that an egg? That's right. I wanted to ignore how I felt. All around me. My problems. Everything. That is why, like a snowball which grew bigger and heavier, I was no longer able to bear this burden. And I just got down on my knees, wishing this indifference would end with me. Why did I deserve this? Why should I drown in this endless pain? I want to die. Are you sure? Are you coming up through my drains? Suddenly, a gush of blood began to pour out of the bathtub drain, filling it slowly and steadily. I looked at it carefully. However, I was not surprised. Perhaps I had already lost the ability to do so. To feel emotions. To feel. Maybe I've just lost my sanity. I stood up and watched as the blood continued to fill the bathtub until it stopped. That's a lot of blood. I went over and looked at all that blood. Are we gonna end up bathing in the blood, you think? Once again, my own head was telling me to sink my face in there until it flooded my lungs and finished me off. I knew I shouldn't do it, but those kinds of ideas were becoming more and more attractive to me. But before we do that, I still want to know what this is. Maybe we should put that in the blood. More and more. In front of my eyes, some bubbles began to emerge from the bottom of the bathtub. What's happening now? I whispered as I continued to question whether all this was real. Well, hi Samara, how you doing? How did you manage to fit through the drain? Out of the bubbles emerged the head of a woman, looking at me intently. Unable to help myself, I took a few steps backwards out of pure instinct. Who was she? What was going on? These were logical questions, but they didn't matter too much either, because I no longer cared what happened to me. Oh! You be naked. Finally, and with great force, a completely naked woman emerged from the water. Her hair was long and a beautiful crimson colour. Every fibre of her hair spread through the air like the roots of a tree. Although she kept a low profile, I knew she also possessed piercing, innocent blue eyes. All of this together with a pale, slender figure. When her hair touched her back again, and drops of blood splattered all around her, she looked at me with a smile and got out of the tub. So, was your hair naturally red or have you just soaked up too much blood? She approached me without saying a word, but with her eyes locked on mine. Who are you? I asked her. She seemed to be looking me up and down. Does that matter? She asked. I don't know. I guess so. Lyra. You can call me by that name. She was still dripping blood, as she was still soaking wet, but she didn't seem to mind. I'm not really surprised. I mean, she did somehow crawl her way up a drain pipe, so probably being naked and wet isn't the biggest deal right now. I didn't know who she was or what was going on, and that made me doubt my sanity, even more than I already did. Aren't you afraid of my presence? No, I'm not afraid. What about that? She said as she pointed to it. You're not afraid of what's inside? Nope, I'm just more curious than anything. Can we open it? You've been ignoring it too, haven't you? Ah, yes. It. Something I've been ignoring since I started feeling like this. And like her, it was uncomfortable to watch, to pay attention to it. That's why I decided to pretend it didn't exist, as if it were never there. However, I was aware that it was slowly grew to be something difficult to ignore. Nothing to say? Okay, she replied in a somewhat disappointed or bored mood. Why are you staring at me so intently? What were you doing? You don't look fine. Oh, you know, just the general, contemplating death. You know how it is in bathrooms? Nothing. I was doing nothing. She asked a good question. What was I doing here? What was going on? Why didn't I want to leave? Who was she? And why was none of this mattering to me in the slightest? I guess it's because
Oh, I see.
She interrupted me.
You wanted to die, right?
Oh, you look stunning. I simply love the grin you've got.
I can make that wish come true. But do you really want that?
Did I really want to die? I don't know. Because deep down, what I've always wanted is for this pain to end.
How about while you take that decision, you and I have a chat and keep each other company?
She asked me with some curiosity.
Huh? What do you say? It's not such a bad plan, is it?
Agreed. Oh, are we draining your bathtub? How are you going to leave again? After accepting her deal, the water, or rather the blood in the bathtub, began to be swallowed up by the drain. Oh, we essentially just invited her in, right? So now she gets to stay so that the blood can leave.
Then we will be very close from now on, Ivan. Pleased to meet you.
She reaffirmed with a big smile on her face.
I hope we get on well together.
I don't recall introducing myself. Huh. Have you been watching me for a while? After having witnessed everything and having met Lara, I decided to lie down on the floor and close my eyes again. Just for a second. For some reason, I felt more and more tired. No, I wasn't sleepy. I guess I was just tired of interacting with another person. Oh, I can relate with that. After I'm done with work, I'm done with socializing for at least 12 hours.
Is that the reason you're like that? Because you get tired of talking to someone?
She spoke to me as if she had intruded onto my own thoughts.
Are you embarrassed to talk to a woman? I can't believe it.
Actually, I think it's more the fact that said woman is a little bit naked.
Are you really that pathetic?
She started laughing at me. That's not true.
Then, why don't you get angry? Why don't you prove me wrong? What are you afraid of, Ivan?
Listen, it's not so much I'm afraid, and more that requires a lot of energy that I do not have. What am I afraid of? Fear? Yes, it's true. I was afraid. Many fears.
Yes, what are you so afraid of that you would lock yourself in here?
I'm not locked in.
Do you really think so? Then, why haven't you left yet? All I see is a poor, frightened man with a face as pale as a ghost.
I'm not leaving because I don't want to.
Are you trying to fool yourself by saying that? Or did you think I would believe such an obvious lie? Okay, it's fine. It's not like my problem after all. So, are you going to tell me why you want to die?
I just feel depressed, sad, alone, and...
Yeah, the same as always, isn't it? Don't you find it boring to repeat the same thing over and over again?
Well, I don't exactly have a choice.
I know you're sad, but you haven't told me why. That doesn't answer anything.
I know. Maybe you're right, I answered crestfallen.
You certainly are boring.
Boring, hey? Yeah, she was right. I was nobody interesting. I had no ambitions, no dreams. I had nothing left to make my heart happy.
I'm getting tired of all these vague answers, you know.
Well, then stay out of my head then. She reproached me as she dug her fingers into my cheek accusingly.
If you go on like this, you'll end up being eaten by worms. Or rather, even the worms won't want to come near you.
Lyra moved closer and changed her angry expression to a more hesitant one.
At least you're in luck, because if these really are your last moments of life, you're going to spend them with a woman as beautiful as me. Don't you think it's great?
I kept silent, not knowing where to fix my gaze. I didn't want our eyes to meet. It made me feel uncomfortable. And as she was naked, it also made me feel a bit embarrassed to watch her for too long.
Conversation doesn't seem to be your thing, but you certainly have a knack for ignoring what's in front of you.
She reproached me and then continued,
ignoring both that and I. But I am insistent. In fact, I like you.
I thought you just said I was boring. You are so temperamental.
I think we can do a lot of things together, Iran.
You don't know who I truly am. You don't know me, I replied as I sat up again. She burst out laughing.
You certainly are strange. There's no one who understands you, is there? You're not even going to ask me why I know your name.
What does that matter? For some reason, I was beginning to get fed up with her confident attitude towards me.
That's fine, because I wasn't planning to tell you anyway.
That's okay then. I'm just gonna go on believing you're a bit of a creeper. Are you like Moaning Myrtle? Do you just hide in my bathroom drains and spy on me?
But I'm disappointed in your lack of interest in me. It's a bit rude, don't you think?
You know what? I do quite like you. Alright, tell me about yourself. Alright, tell me about yourself.
So, what do you want to know?
Well, I kind of did want to know if you lived in my drain pipe, but, I will ask who you are. Who are you?
As punishment for your apathy, I won't answer that.
Oi! You just said you were upset I wasn't taking interest. And now you're just not going to speak to me when I'm trying to take interest? I don't understand women.
If you want to achieve something, you have to strive to achieve it first. Anyway, where should we start?
Start what?
To find out what's going on in that little head of yours. You clearly need help.
Help? I didn't ask you to help me.
So, you just want to die? If that's what you want, I can strangle you with my bare hands.
That seems like a bit of a boring death. Have you got anything more interesting? Lara approached me with a mischievous grin as she waved her fingers as if preparing to carry out her threat. Unconsciously, I took a few steps backwards.
You see, you don't want to die. You are afraid. Not only that, but you're more chicken than human.
It's not funny.
But that's what you wanted, isn't it?
She said in a condescending tone while putting her index finger on her lip.
In that case, I propose the same as before.
Lara stepped away and wandered gracefully around the bathroom. You see, you could have just gave me a more interesting death than you'd strangle me with your hair. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have sentient control of it. She waved her slender arms like a child, playing carefree games. I couldn't understand her. At times, she seemed to be full of innocence, and at times, she showed a coldness devoid of empathy. Was she truly willing to kill me if I asked her to? Why would she want to do something like that? I don't think she would have anything to gain from it, right? Other than our blood. I mean, clearly blood is important to her if that's how she travels. I'm curious, what would you gain by getting my blood on your hands? And what would you gain by getting blood on your hands?
Gain? She asked,
pausing to think about her answer.
I don't know. Maybe I could make you join me. Or maybe I could feed on your dead remains. Or I could even be a simple act of kindness to someone who is suffering. Which answer would satisfy your curiosity, Iran? Which would you find satisfying?
Does that mean you're not human? I hate to point out the obvious, Iran, but she came up through a drain pipe. Of course she's not human.
If you're asking that question at this point, it means either my disguise is pretty good, or you're just plain stupid.
Then tell me what you are. Are you some kind of ghost? A hallucination of my mind?
I can be whatever you want me to be. But tell me, would that change anything? If my identity will be the only thing you're interested in, then maybe it's better to keep it a secret for now. No? Well...
She sighed as she stopped, turned, and came over to sit on the edge of the tub.
Let's talk about something. I want to know your opinion about many things. You're the only person I can talk to after all.
She threw her hair back with both hands and stretched out her legs in a carefree manner. I mean, do you mean currently? Like I'm the only one you're attached to? If I died, you move on to someone else? She looked at me and continued talking.
Aren't you afraid of death, Iran? Aren't you sorrowful to stop being alive? To stop feeling?
And what should I do if all I feel is this emptiness and despair? If that's what it means to be alive, I don't want to be alive anymore. That's why...
But if your heart stops beating, you won't have a chance to feel good things either. Isn't that sad?
She interrupted me as she raised her hand as if trying to caress something nostalgic.
Sometimes life, no, sometimes existence itself is a dance where pain and happiness entwine infinitely.
What if I can't experience anything happy again?
If you disappear, you won't be able to find that answer. Look at me. Do you think I'm happy right now? Do you think everyone else is? There is no such thing as eternal happiness, Iran. Only those who are afraid of being hurt again, of living again, lock themselves in a bathroom, terrified like you.
Believe me, I have already tried everything in my hand to change that.
And you have been hurt, right? Now tell me, what good has that pain done for you if you haven't learned anything? Failures are inevitable, but any mistake can be turned into a lesson.
Lara reached up slightly to give me a pinch.
You could have become a big wolf, but instead you ended up as an abused dog, afraid of the sun and any gesture of affection.
I'm sorry. I apologized to her, even though I had no reason to do so. However, they were the first words out of my mouth.
Why are you apologizing to me? It's yourself you should be apologizing to. Neither I nor anyone else cares. It is only you who suffers from this.
I know, you're right. I'm sorry.
Are you going to go into sad mode now? I know a few words don't do anything, so you don't need to fake that false guilt.
She let her body fall back as if she was rummaging through her thoughts, only to bring up another topic of conversation.
You know, I'm afraid we can't stay here forever. So,
She paused to give me a flirty glance.
I want to ask you a few things to get to know you better. What do you think?
I guess it's okay.
Good.
I'm starting to get the idea that we weren't really given a choice there. We were going to get asked regardless.
Tell me, then, what do you think of the others? Have they been good to you, or bad?
Which others? Okay, so either everyone has been miserable, or no one's been mean to me. I'm gonna go for optimistic. No one's been mean to me. No one has been mean to me. Even though I am all alone now.
Oh, I see. Well, my next question is, what do you think about love?
Lava finally got back on her feet, while she kept watching me with a curious and mischievous gaze. After asking me that question, she entangled her index finger in a lock of her hair. What do I think about love? Are you angling on me for saying I'm falling in love with you? So it's either... I think I'm going to say keeping quiet for a complete other run, and then we're just going to stay silent the entire options. I'm going to say it's beautiful. Love can be a good thing. I think love is something beautiful and unique. As long as you don't allow it to develop into obsession and, just be over the top.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something more pessimistic.
I will eventually, don't worry about it. Why?
You seem to shy away from any kind of infection. Even more so from women. Haven't they paid enough attention to you, Ivan? No, that doesn't matter to me now. What I would like to know is what you think of me. Do you think I'm attractive? I'm your type. Honestly, you're pretty cute to me. I like you. You may have dead fish eyes and a sinister aura, but I like you. You're interesting. I think we could make a good couple. What do you think?
You know what? I'm utterly charmed by you saying I've got dead fish eyes, so, let's say I like you too. I think... Well, maybe I like you too. I mean, you're not ugly and... that.
Are you serious? See, I'm more and more surprised by your answers. That excites me.
Lara approached me and put her slender arms around me. I was quite a bit taller than her, so she stood on her tiptoes to try to match my height. Her eyes were fixed on me in a way that was as innocent as it was devoid of empathy.
It's a pity. This place is so boring. But it certainly wouldn't be the same without you. Ah, baby. I know you're tired, aren't you?
Wait, are you only saying you like me because you're trying to entice me into death?
I'm sorry. How insensitive of me.
She hugged me even tighter, slightly lowering her tone of voice to a warmer, gentler tone. I'm not. I tried to tell her, but my already low energy was slowly draining away. Are you consuming my energy? Well, what did I really expect?
Shh. Try to relax, Siren. I'm with you now. There is nothing to be afraid of. Follow my breath and close your eyes. Just let yourself go by my voice.
Time to die, I suppose. Ah, yes. This feeling again. I felt everything around me fade away like a distant echo. My mind slowly drifted into a painful and unnatural calm. I knew this was not normal. I knew there was something out of the ordinary, bizarre. But I don't care anymore. Right now, I'm fine. That's what really matters to me.
Don't forget me, Siren.
Oh, you're stunning! See, this is such a more interesting death than just being strangled. That's right now.
If you embrace me, you will never be alone again, Siren. I promise.
The egg is beating. Oh, it was an egg! Am I still alive?
Have you been able to rest your troubled mind for a while?
She asked me with a curious look. I guessed that she didn't leave my side for an inch. It may be. You know, I can never say I'm completely right.
Oh dear, I know that.
She answered and stroked my hair in return.
But don't worry, I'm sure you'll be better soon.
I hope so too, I said as a slight sigh escaped my mouth.
Answer me, Siren. There is something I would like to know.
What's the issue?
I would like to know. Do you think your problems would be solved if you went somewhere else?
Most likely, because I'm assuming the somewhere else is to the next plane of existence, right? I know you're trying to kill me.
If you had to start all over again, somewhere far away from here, would you be okay with that?
Start again?
Exactly. Move away from this place, from this city, from this world.
She kept talking as she approached me, trying to seduce me.
Tell me, what if you come with me?
To where? I don't even know where you come from. In fact, I don't even know if you exist.
Of course I do, my little Siren.
She laughed mockingly.
You could come with me, away from all these people who, deep down, are just wolves in sheep's clothing. I know you feel lonely, being trapped here and isolated. That's why I can keep you company and give you the love you've always longed for, Siren.
I don't think everything is as simple as you make it out to be. Besides,
You are right. It is not that simple.
she lowered her gaze and walked away.
Everything in life has a price, doesn't it?
And what do you want? What is that price? Our life, I assume? You know what? I love how creepy you look. Wait, is anyone else getting Momo vibes?
I will accept everything from you. Your fears, your pain, your sins, your joys. But you will have to accept me, along with all that your eyes do not see, your ears do not hear, and your heart does not sense.
Lava's face had changed to one that was much more. Also, that egg seemed to shake. The blood began to gush out of the drains, loud and fast, flooding everything, including my own mind and thoughts.
What will you do, Ivan? Will you accept me and all that I represent? Will you leave everything behind and be reborn with me?
Oh, I simply can't say no to you when you give me that face. Everything seemed to be changing around me. Perhaps I no longer knew what was real and what was my imagination. In any case, Lava seemed to really intend to help me and to get me not only out of here, but also to save me from myself. Although her appearance was obviously...
Tell me, Ivan, how do I look in your eyes? Do I disgust you?
She asked me again, with a nervous flick of her new tongue. Her body was still intact for the moment. However, her face left behind the confident smile she had been wearing to give away to sort of an open jaw. Around and inside, surrounding her now non-existent lips, she had a kind of small legs that kept moving like the fingers of a hand. In addition to the obvious, a tongue that seemed to be able to extend at will and kept spurting out saliva. To have such a being in front of anyone else would undoubtedly provoke absolute fear. But I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about anything. No. You don't disgust me. In fact, I think I'm in love with you.
Even when I look like this, do you still like me?
Listen, I flirted with a spider woman before. This is nothing. Yes.
Then come and join me, Ivan.
Lava returned to her more seductive form and lay down on the floor, while with a hypnotic gesture of her hand, she called me.
If you lie with me, you will forget all the bad things you have experienced up to this moment. If you join me, we will be together forever. I will devour your fears and your pain. I will not let you down. I'll never betray you, because you will become my most precious gift. So, don't you be the one to disappoint me now.
Without a word, I walked over and stood over her naked body. She wrapped her legs around me and hugged me, pressing my head to her chest. Her long tongue was hissing in my ear, and despite all that, despite the situation, and despite my own state of mind, I could no longer control myself. When we had both finished and were exhausted, in that maelstrom of caresses, kisses and passion, Lara got up, and with another gesture just like the previous one, she invited me to get into the bathtub with her. I knew I was going to end up bathing in the blood. Her delicate legs sank into the blood that filled the tub. Then she introduced her whole body completely, sinking as if there was no end beneath all that blood. a depth that led to the abyss.
Come on. Come with me, darling.
She invited me to join her. But what would happen if I finally bathed in this blood? It was too late to turn back, wasn't it? I have nowhere to run away, nor any other way around, nor any other solution. And this girl, she really seems to care about me. What am I supposed to do when I can't even trust myself? Like a sailor in the middle of a storm, I was being lured by the song of this siren. I was aware of this, and I accepted it.
Are you ready to accept your destiny?
She asked me with a gentle smile on her face. I am. The whole atmosphere was so magical and captivating, as beautiful as she was. She was right. It was time to accept my fate, that I had no escape, no salvation. I had to make this selfish decision.
Come, let us unite once more, Aran.
She whispered as she hugged me tightly.
I will always be with you. Now nothing can separate us.
Is this the moment when you eat me?
It will be the weight of your sins that will sink us in this blood. But I will lead you to your salvation, to our everlasting love.
Lara took my hand and kissed me. Without separating our lips, we both dipped our heads under that blood, in my own blood. As my oxygen depleted, desperation took over my nerves, but she provided me with a breath of air. I felt like I was dying and coming back to life again and again. As she said, we were both sinking, until the light left us, until we left it all behind, until now. There was only her and me. End 3. We found the siren call. You know what? I don't think I'm going to take any interest in you this time.
Anyway, where should we start?
Our silence will be maintained.
Well,
She sighed as she stopped, turned, and came over to sit on the edge of the tub. How about we just say that everyone has been miserable? Yes, everyone has been miserable to me, and I can't understand why either.
despite this, do you think they deserve a second chance?
No, I think everyone deserves to.
Die!
She finished my sentence. I could not contradict her, as I could not say I disagreed either. I obviously held a lot of resentment towards other people who simply chose to ignore me as I sank deeper into my misery. No one seemed to care. No one wanted to offer me a hand.
And what would you do then? Will you live with that feeling and forgive them? Or would you rather they simply die in despair, as you almost did?
I'm gonna choose not to forgive them, I think. I can't forgive anyone. Everyone deserves to go through what I did. I want them to understand how hard it is. I wish they would all disappear.
Wow! I didn't expect you to finally say something so assertive for once. I am surprised. Well, my next question is, what do you think about love?
I did say we were going to maintain our silence.
Are you going to keep quiet again? A silence is no answer to me. Come on, tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you what I think.
All right. Ah, you stole my silent answer. Fine, I think love is painful. I think love is painful and cruel.
Oh, why do you say that?
Why? Because to love someone is to become totally defenseless in the face of betrayal. It may be very special and magical the first few times, but that rainbow of happiness eventually dissolves into tears of sadness.
You are right about that. Love can be a very, very painful. But that's part of the grace, don't you think? To take a risk and put your beating heart in someone else's hands. It will most likely end up shattered, but it may also end up as a great treasure for that person. Something to cherish and care forever. Would you give up that chance of happiness for the risk?
I don't know. I probably won't take the risk, considering how screwed up I already am.
What I would like to know now is what you think of me.
I'm thinking I should definitely get away from you. As Lara tried to seduce me, I turned away from her, uncomfortable because of her words. When she saw my reaction, she changed her face to one of surprise and disappointment.
I understand,
she said in a trembling, angry tone.
There's nothing I can do if that's the way things are, isn't it?
I couldn't help it. She might be the most beautiful girl in the world, but I couldn't be attracted to her or anyone else. If I couldn't even like myself, how could anyone else like me?
Seems like everybody being mean to you has turned you into a monster too. Ironic to say the least. You wish everyone would disappear, don't you?
She looked at me as if she knew what to do, or she had realized something. Suddenly, the blood rushed out of the pipes again, filling the bathtub with great speed and violence.
If what you want is to be left all alone, and you refuse my company too, I suppose I can do no more than comply with your wish.
Finally, the blood filled the tub again. I thought Lara would jump back in and go back the way she came, but instead, she walked over to one of the mirrors. With her head, she smashed it with one blow, shattering it into several pieces. "What are you doing?" I asked, nervous and shocked.
What does it look like I'm doing?
Potentially committing a murder?
I'm going to grant your wish, Aran.
She bent down to pick up one of the pieces of glass. With the tip of her finger, she stroked the edge to check that it was sharp enough.
I guess this is our farewell. Quick and fleeting. It's a shame, but perhaps it will help you learn the weight of your words and actions.
Wait, what do you plan to do with that?
Isn't it obvious? I'm going to disappear, just like you want me to, along with everyone else. I told you I would make your wish come true, and this is what you want.
Oh, I was fully expecting you to stab me. Lara gripped the piece of glass hard enough to let it wound her hand. With it, she cut deep into her wrist and arm until she drew a grotesque crimson river of blood on her skin. Drops of blood gushed and trickled painfully. However, she kept a smile on her face, undeterred. When I saw this scene, I was frozen in shock.
This is what you wanted, right? Are you happy?
She asked accusingly.
This is also what you were planning to do to yourself. You should not be surprised.
Why? I asked her with my voice cracking, not knowing why she was going to such extremes. This doesn't make sense. Why?
I'm just making your wish come true. As simple as that. Now, do you regret it? There's no way back now, Aran.
She began to collapse and lose strength in her legs. She leaned against the wall and slowly collapsed to the floor as the blood from her arm kept pouring out and staining everything. How the hell am I going to explain a dead body in my bathroom?
What are you going to do now? Are you going to join me? Or are you going to take responsibility for once?
I say we do neither of those things and we just put her back in the bathtub. She asked me as her voice gradually faded. This was my fault. Why did she do such a horrible thing? Why?
This happened because you wanted it to happen, didn't you? Or was I wrong? No, I don't think so, because you said so, not me. Now is your chance to learn something very important. That words can hurt as much as blades. That you must take responsibility for your actions. And that the end is the same for everyone. So you must leave this place and live. I will bear your pain and sins, but only you can free yourself from your chains. Now. Live for me, for you, and for us, for all those who could not be forgiven, for all those who are now forgotten. Live and let your past and agony leave with my blood.
You can't do things so cruel. You can't. She laughed despite all the blood she was losing.
It's done. Farewell, Aran.
Wait! Maybe we should have tried, to stop the bleeding. No! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I kept repeating as my vision became increasingly blurred. I'm sorry! End 1. The burden of our words. Perhaps I shouldn't have said then that we wanted all our friends and neighbours to die. Okay, I think I might have found our ending 2 path. So essentially, we've gone for the good answers, the optimistic answers, so what we think of love is beautiful and everything. But instead of saying we like her, again we rejected her.
Can I at least know why?
She asked me, disappointed. I don't know. I don't know you, and I sighed. I find it hard to believe that you like me, that you want to be with me. You don't know me, and I know it's all a lie. Tell me, if I can't even stand myself, how could you?
I see. That's what you think, isn't it?
She replied, giving way to a sigh.
So, if you don't want to be with me, I don't think you have anything to tie you to this room anymore.
Leva seemed a little disappointed with my reaction and feelings, but she quickly tried to pull herself together again, just as she had initially shown herself to be.
Come on, Why don't you try opening the door?
Why should I obey you? What if I don't want to? I answered somewhat defensively.
Because we both know that's a lie. If you're still here, it's because you're incapable of leaving.
That's not true.
Then do it. Prove me wrong.
I looked back and put my hand on the handle of the door. Through the blurred glass, I could tell the light flooded my bedroom. That the sun had already come out of hiding. Now, however, it was me who was sheltering from its warmth. I squeezed the knob hard, but no matter how hard I tried, I wasn't able to open the door.
Do you see it? You need my help,
she whispered teasingly. I knew it was me who was wrong, that I really needed help. Any kind of help. Not only to get out of this place, but also to save myself. To be able to break out of this shell and live. Wait, is that what's going to be the egg? Wait, break out of my shell? Break that? I whispered to myself, as if I had finally realized something more than the obvious. That egg, which I had always ignored since I started to feel this way, and without stopping, continued to grow under my indifferent gaze. Was I to blame for all this? Maybe if I broke it, would I be able to get out of here? Would I be able to end my pain? Would I be able to start again?
And how do you plan to break something you created yourself?
She said as if she knew everything that was going through my mind. I approached the egg without knowing what to do. The logical thing to do would be to grab something and beat the egg, wouldn't it? But surely none of that would work. We could just go for the, is it before I wake? Well, yeah, go for the solution of before I wake. Just give the egg a cuddle, it's fine. Suddenly, its colour changed and it began to stir inside. The veins that nourished it churned with each throbbing, and it secreted something like blood that trickled across the floor into the drain.
You don't know what to do, right? What would you do if I told you I could open it?
How? I asked Lyra, agitedly, almost on the verge of despair, without realizing it.
It only requires two things, and I don't know if you're ready for that.
Tell me, I'll do anything.
I guess I'll tell you. Since you can't stay here forever, you'll end up dead anyway, won't you? Listen to me carefully. First, you must make a promise.
She went on to explain.
You must accept something inevitable. You must accept that you are a failure, a waste, that there are so many things wrong with you, that this world is full of misery, pain, and darkness. But that you are also full of good things, of missed and undecided opportunities, that this world, despite its pain, can be wonderful if you give yourself the chance to live, to discover it, and above all, to forgive yourself. I know you want to be saved, but the key to that salvation is within you. You can't go anywhere if you don't accept yourself.
I've tried that, but I always fail and...
That doesn't matter. Just clench your fists and try harder.
It's not that simple.
Aren't you so fed up with everything? Then prove it to me. Hit it! Stop running away!
I hit the egg with all my might, sinking my knuckles into it, but to no avail.
Come on, do it again. It doesn't matter if you fail.
She kept shouting at me.
You are what is at stake.
I kind of approve of this ending better. Hitting it is such a better idea than giving it a color. Oh, it seems to be working. After a couple of blows, it finally seemed to react. Is it going to start hatching?
Come on. Don't stop now.
Ah! After a final blow, my fist went inside the egg. As I pulled it out, the liquid inside began to slowly empty.
For the first time, you seem to have the courage to take a decision. Congratulations, Ivan.
Is this what I had to do to get out of here?
That's right. To regain the courage and self-confidence. To face your worst enemy. Your emotions.
And what was the other thing I was supposed to do? Lava showed a slight smile on her face, but her eyes looked sad. I didn't know if she was happy or not.
The other condition is that I must die so that you can live.
What? What are you saying?
I exist because I am nourished by your torture. I am nothing but yourself, or that you do not accept, or that you are not able to say, to reveal. But if you prove that, you really have the courage again to get out of here, of not ending up consumed by your own pain, then I have no reason to exist in your mind any longer.
Wait! But
Aran,
She stopped me.
everything you need is now with you. It is you. Forgive yourself and give yourself a chance to be happy. Find that happiness. Find yourself.
That does explain, though, why she could only speak to me, huh? But yes, that was our ending too. Hatching out of the eggshell. Also known as murdering two people, the egg and our friend. Well, I hope you enjoyed that playthrough of Loverendia, and our question was finally answered. How she managed to know our name? Well, she was created from our suffering. If you enjoyed that playthrough, I'd greatly appreciate you could like this video and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, it was Spook Day, and I'll catch you next time, guys.